Welcome. Imagine for a moment your daughter comes home and tells you she plans on marrying someone she just met, with knowing nothing about them. Would you let her know that making such a big lifetime commitment is such a big decision? But that is exactly what we're doing when we make political decisions without being informed. Who and what we vote for has a major impact on our lives and a commitment that we must be willing to live with. Who is more capable of choosing an individual than ourselves? Me, myself, I have many years of experience in voting, and Christian has academic familiarity. We would like to take the next few minutes to discuss the importance of politics and awareness, engagement, and the appeals to our health and safety, as well as cover how one might employ resources to become more politically versed. When you choose not to vote, you lose your voice in the political process. According to Lauren Devon Wilkie of the Huffington Post, because to not vote is to not have a hand in who gets those aforementioned powers. No influence in choosing who might be better choice, even if in your mind they are a lesser of two evils. Whether you vote or not, someone will be elected, and that person will be your president, making decisions that affect you and this country for many years to come. Individuals believe that their vote doesn't matter, or that no candidate is up to the job. According to Scott Clement of the Washington Post, only 36% of registered voted in 2014. Some decisions we simply do not want to make, but not making an informed decision when it comes to our future can have great consequences. You must be heard. If you receive any, as a student, decisions can affect you in the real world. As a college student, consider this. If you receive any sort of federal funded aid, your immediate future is in the hands of your elected official. Choosing officials to support federal funding in higher education could easily reduce the funding and research for your school. You can be sure to the man in the White House has your safety and security in mind if you do not understand where he stands on the issues. The answer is you cannot.
And for that matter, the man in the White House is not the only important elected official that you should take notice of. There are also senators, governors, and even mayors that should warrant just as much of your attention. So what is a politically conscious individual in our society to do? It might sound obvious at first, but media is a tool that, in the hands of the savvy, is much more than a place where you can catch up with people that you don't care about posting pictures that you don't want to see. You can find news, and you can find honest news. The world today is a beautiful place, with much variation, and ideas which are equally prevalent on the news and online. It gives us multiple viewpoints for every situation affecting global goings-on, which gives the individual the ability to draw upon multiple sources in shaping their worldviews. In order to become aware, you must become educated, and that means going to the source of the information, whether it be the television, internet, print sources, or the radio. We believe that an informed population is more likely to participate, even if it's only to the extent of choosing between the lesser of two evils, as many see the political process. The biggest expense of educating yourself is the time needed to hunt down the truth, followed by the cross-examination needed to verify the truth critically. In a 2013 poll by Gallup conducted between June 20th and 24th, titled Where Americans Turn for News, of the 2,048 people interviewed, 55% of those people stated TV as their primary source of news, with only 26% of that 55%, so less than half, non-specified as to a chosen network, meaning that they would go to multiple news networks for their sources. That implies that the larger half, 29%, relied solely upon a single source, Fox, CNN, what have you, for their world affairs, and this cannot stand. We believe that knowledge is just as well defined by what it is as what it is not. Therefore, research that highlights discrepancies or corroborates evidence further is important in forming opinions toward person and policy. It should come as no surprise that the biggest part of education is resource management. In an article by League of Women Voters Education Fund titled How to Judge a Candidate, accessed November 9th, 2015, the step directly following the establishment of personal criteria for a candidate is to put together a library of sorts of information about all of the candidates. Collect any information you can find on these candidates. I think that this quote is important because it focuses on any information, not just the stuff that you choose to decide. You cannot cherry pick sources. So, it is Mr. Carey and I's belief that through awareness and education, specifically in terms of how our government operates and how we want it to operate, these directly correlate to an increase in the general standard of living for all Americans. So get out there and get educated. But why exactly? Why choose to participate in such a complex and seemingly corrupt game? Simply put, because the alternatives are not concepts that I believe any of us would choose to entertain, or enjoy entertaining for that matter. We have rights, but we also have tools by which we maintain those rights and upkeep them. Harlan Ellison once said that you are not entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. And I believe this statement sufficiently describes how one should act for the political climate. If we remain uneducated to the very real system that affects us all equally, our world will not be ours to shape. But we know that being informed is necessary, or else we would all be married to strangers we had only just met, as Mr. Carey described. We learn or we sacrifice. Because imagine the election of said candidate before the aforementioned 36% voted, where only a minority of that percentage had done any homework at all. Does this representative symbolize the will of the people? We believe not. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are as superheroes before the call to action, imbued with inalienable rights we do not fully understand, afforded to us by the laws of our country, and we are thus responsible for our deeds wrought from those civil liberties. We must then pay attention when potential leaders speak, and verify the words that are spoken. We must look in the direction that they point, and ask ourselves, is that way progress? Watch news stations, read articles, keep on the debates, and form opinions toward all of these things. So just as we look on, these figures of government led astray, despite their duties to us the people, know that it is by our word that they speak, and it is by our hand that they lead. That is only true, of course, if we continue to speak, continue to vote intelligently, and continue to bear the responsibility of being members of a nation that listens to our grievances. As for Mr. Carey and I, I'm sure you can guess where we'll be on voting day, and we all hope to see you there. Thank you.